Hey guys, it's your girl Corey Love of the Corey Love Show. Tonight we are actually doing our conversation in person with Sprott, who is a domestic violence survivor. We were totally on a whole different page, which that's why we're tardy. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I'm going to jump right on in and go ahead and let her introduce herself. But before we do that, make sure you guys share this out with at least 5 of your followers. Drop your name and location, whatever questions or comments you have, drop them in the question box, drop them in the comments. We will get to your questions and comments throughout the show. Tonight, our show does not have an actual sponsor. So if you're interested in being a sponsor for the show, you can go ahead and send me a DM later on, and we will make sure that we contact you to go ahead and do that for our next show. So again, this is Sprott, and she's going to go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Sierra. I'm 28 years old. I am a domestic violence survivor, not anyone's victim. But I am a part of a group called Pain to Purpose, which deals with many domestic violence on a day-to-day, not just only for women, but for kids, teenagers. Teenagers deal with it. Men deal with it, and it's not just only physical, it's verbal, it's financial. So there's many different ways that you can do domestic violence. So we'll leave that information before we do disconnect. So just in case anyone has any questions or wants to get involved with someone, you'll have that information.
And I'm glad that she touched on that, because what a lot of people don't know, that there are a lot of men that are domestic violence survivors or going through domestic violence, but for whatever reason, men are less prone to share their experience. So don't ever think that men are that strong all the time, because they do deal with it. Not that it's a great thing to deal with, but things happen. They just prefer not to share it. So if you do know a man and they prefer to speak with some purpose privately, like she said, she is a part of a program called Pain to Purpose, and we will share that information not only at the end of the live, but I'll make sure that I post it on my page as well so that they can contact us. I am just the messenger, but I don't dig deeper in that area. So it'll be someone called Shonda Roberts. She is the founder of that organization, and that's right here in Florida. So as you can see, she is here in studio, and we're going to jump right on in. Remember to drop whatever questions you guys have in the question box. So we're not going to get to the end of the nitty-gritty, but we're going to start first with how did you eventually start figuring out that you're going through that? Or were there any signs in the beginning that made you think, is this man like abusing me?
Well, for me and him, I knew him from high school. It was, I got to know him as, right now I'm an adult, so I'll say kids as growing up teenagers, and at that time it was always fun, and he had a slick mouth. I think that's what I liked about him the most. His mouth was really slick, and anybody know my mouth's slick too. But he had a very slick mouth, and he was just funny. So I guess as we got into the relationship, that's when it started to become like playing, and then it was just like serious. It started coming from the snapping, getting mad quick, to now it's no longer talking no more, because I realized that you're not going to pick up and go nowhere now that I cuss you out. And it doesn't just come from cussing you out, it's calling you out your name. You're no longer bae when you're mad. It's, bitch, and other things like that. Yeah.
Okay. You can be it's carefree conversation. So that's how you talk. I want you to be comfortable. So talk how you talk.
So yeah. But it did come, it went from calling bae to bitch and hoe, and then to turn around and then 2 minutes later you're fine, you want to have sex. And it's like, boy, what?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, we're good, but something got a little bit too serious. Yeah. And then, so did it start with like punching or slapping? Or
the first incident me and him ever had was he pushed me. He pushed me, and I thought it was, I started laughing because we were drinking. He pushed me, I fell, and then I could tell like he was angry, but I was like, oh, you're really mad? Like, I didn't take it as in like,
right.
I said,
you for real?
Yeah, you're for real.
Okay.
And then like went in the house, locked his door, and told me don't call his phone no more, and like my stuff was in his house. So it's like, wait, what? When I told him my stuff in his house, he took my stuff and threw it outside. So I'm like, what? Oh, wow. It was weird. And I think that was the first time right there. It was my fault. I should have realized, okay, this is I didn't see this growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it was new to me, but it was like we had so much fun.
So after that first incident, guys, give me 1 second as I try to make sure that I'm making sure that I check you guys' comments and questions and concerns. So when that first happened, so he put your stuff out, how did y'all end up talking back again after that first incident?
That's a great question. I know it took it. I think I left for the night, and then he begged me to come back later that night to come to talk, and we ended up. It was always just like a sex thing. So when he left, when I left and came back, it was like he brought me flowers. He bought my favorite chocolate, and he always did romantic stuff to pull me back, like cards and stuff. You know, a lot of times men are not like that anymore. Like they don't. The romantic things is out the door. Like so, when I got it, I was like, oh, okay.
You sorry for real.
Yeah, you sorry for real. You taking me out, we drinking, we having fun, and it was just like that's what always came. Yeah, that's what always brought me back to that.
Okay. And so you're pampering. So it's like, oh, he's sorry, child. He good. Everything good. And then so the second incident, so the first time was he put your stuff out. He came back. He made amends and, you know, showing you that he loves you. So I love you, babe. Like, man, whatever. Let's move forward, basically. So then the second incident, like, what happened?
The second incident, the second time it happened, I think that's the last one I actually remember, and it was just like a whole bunch of other ones that just came about. But the second one, I know that we were arguing. It was so stupid. We were arguing about a flag.
A flag?
A flag. The Trinidad and the Haitian flag.
Really?
We were talking about the independence for Haitian, and I simply said, because people that don't know, I'm Trinidadian descent, and he was Haitian descent. Well, he is Haitian descent. So I said y'all, like, as far as like y'all, when I was talking about Haitian, and he talked about stuff. What do you mean y'all? Like, he got so mad. He was like, we're all from the island. I said, we're actually from America. You can calm down. But he don't like when, he never liked when my mouth got slick.
Okay.
So when he gets slick, when I used to get slick, he used to get up and get in my face like this, like thing in my face. That's a lot of people that know me. I don't like anything in my face. I don't like that. I don't like that. And that just me moving his hand just ended up him swinging.
Do it all.
Yeah, and it was just like we were fighting from there. Like a lot of people think that when I say like when you say domestic violence that you sat there and got beat. I didn't sit there and get beat. I rumbled, like, we fought.
So it's like a control thing for him. He wanted to be right. He wanted what I say go, pretty much.
It's my way of
control. So he wanted to shut you down. Shut up. So he kind of went back a little bit to back in the days when what I say goes. You don't say nothing. Yeah, I know you wasn't having that. So, again, guys, this is Sierra Sprott. She is a domestic violence warrior, survivor, and she's here telling us her story tonight. And there's others that will be doing the same thing. So if you guys make sure that you tune in, because I don't want to say that you may be going through things like that, but there's a lot of females that deal with things and don't realize that those little things, like she said, she laughed. It was funny to her at first, not realizing that he was very serious about it. So if you're in those little situations, try to nip it in the bud, as they say. So if you have any questions, don't forget to drop them in the question box. So we're streaming from my page and her page. So if you guys have questions as well, make sure you drop them in the box. I think some people have questions on her page. Check her page, please, for me. Thank you. So that was the second incident. So simple, so like unexpected. So then you guys didn't like separate that day or anything. You just kind of just like whatever.
It was just
brushed it off.
Yeah, like he just, and that it's so funny because it always became incidents. Like anytime we fought or argued, it always had incidents that happen afterwards that make us talk. Like for instance, that night that we just the last night that I could actually remember was. That night we did all that, and then he left the house, went to go buy alcohol. He's sitting outside smoking his joint, and he had his gun in the car, which is his gun was licensed, but police ended up pulling up to the house and wanted to arrest him because they said his car started, he's drinking in front of the house, it was a lot of break-ins. I don't know. It didn't make any sense.
Okay.
But when it happened, his mom came and was like, Sierra, police is outside, you know, and I was just like, okay. Okay, but when I went outside and I seen that they were like, it was kind of like a racial profiling. Okay. It made you just all the stuff that you argued about not too long like before, you just forgot about it because it's like, he didn't even do nothing. He's
home.
Yeah. So it's like when he came back in the house after the whole incident, we ended up started talking, and it's just like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. So things always smooth it over.
Yeah, it was always something to just get over that particular thing.
Mm-hmm. So now I've been told and known and seen that there have been incidents where like you guys fall out or the individual falls out with someone and then they just start. I don't want to say stalking, but pretty much that's what it is. They start following you or pulling up or.
Well, you know that we had a lot of you guys don't know, but she's actually my cousin. So when we talk about domestic violence, it's not something that I just dealt with my family experience. And it's funny how she's doing the talk show because at the end of the day, she was the main person that was rooting for both of us. Even when we went through our first fight, she was like, that's not right, but people fight and move forward. And she never judged upon what I had going on versus a lot of people. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to judge because I have little cousins, nieces, and nephews, and I'm a judge. I'm a judge. Yeah, so I do understand, but we had a time to share when I was at your house and he pulled up. You remember with the drink? And I didn't even ask him for nothing, but we were mad with each other at that time. So
and I was like, how do you know you was there?
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. He's weird.
Yeah. You think he had a tracker on you?
No, I just thought. Okay. So every time I had I always had an Android. I never used to do iPhone. And then I realized he kept breaking my Androids. Then he ended up buying me a phone, and it was an iPhone. But then I didn't know how to work no iPhone, so he put the location of my phone. So months going by, and I don't even know what's going on. So I think that, and I realized it the day that I went to my mom's house one time. And we lived in Pembroke Pines. So he was telling me, why did I take 47th Avenue instead of going 67th Avenue? And I said, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, so I realized that's where it came from. And realistically too, honestly, when you're getting up when you're laying down with your, your significant other or whatever you tell them, oh yeah, I'm finna go such and such.
Right,
yeah.
you're not thinking.
So it's not, but you thinking that it's like, dang, you really just gonna pop up
Yeah. Oh my God, was it scary when those little small things started happening? Because we were laughing it out like, oh, he just brought a drink.
No, it was more so embarrassing. It was embarrassing, and it was just like you kind of pissed you off.
See if y'all think questions because I can't see. Yeah,
it's more so like pissing you off. Like it's like
you doing the most.
What you doing that for?
Yeah,
like we get it.
Yeah,
you're my boyfriend. We get it.
Yeah, you don't need to show up.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. So if you guys haven't experienced that, and I'm seeing, she said, girl, he was crazy. Yeah, and then you don't see those little signs, because to you it's like, okay, all right, why you follow me? But like she said, he got her an iPhone, and if you guys have iPhones, you know that they have the location, or you don't even have to send your locations, because if it's connected, that's why a lot of parents like iPhones, because they can... they can find their children in the case of anything. She said it's a real cycle: the tension, the phase, the crisis phase, then the honeymoon. So there's stages to it, phases to it. Okay, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. So, and then now the final incident was when he became really physical. What happened that night? I mean, you don't have to go deep into details.
I mean, it doesn't bother me. I know you guys are probably like, she has a smile on her face. I have dealt with it. Yeah. Like, it happened 2016. Right now I'm still going through court and everything like that. So it's like, I have dealt with it. I have understood that, it's no reason to cry because it's like, God still gave you life. But that night, what happened? We all went to her daughter's volleyball game, which I told her I would never go to another volleyball game.
She blamed it on my child.
I said I'm never going to one of your volleyball games ever again. But long story short, me and him, we had gotten into an argument. I was basically staying at his house, but I never moved all my stuff at his house because I knew that we were going through that. So when I wanted to leave and say I'm going home, it was like, okay, she do live somewhere else. She not fully here. So we ended up leaving the volleyball game. I ended up cooking that night because I always cooked for him to eat that night as well as the next day, even if I was mad. I should have poisoned him, but whatever.
Shit, I'm being mad. That's gonna be bleeped out.
But however, we he ended up coming to the house, well, around the corner from the house, because, you know, Auntie didn't want him no longer at the house anymore.
Right.
And we were talking, and it just went from, I was telling him about the game and things like that, because those that don't know, I also played volleyball for a little bit in school too. So that was volleyball and softball are my two favorite sports. So I was into the game when I watched them, and I was telling him how I felt about the game and things in that nature. And it went from the game to how many men try to talk to you though.
At the game?
Yes. And I said, that's the same thing I said. I said, high school game? Yeah. I said the same thing. I said, you're so insecure. Like, that's not even attractive. Like, that is a high school. Oh, you act like you so naive. Like, nobody will try to talk to you in this. I said, if somebody think you're fine, they're not going to get up and say, hey, little mama.
Right.
And even if they do, that's for me to correct them. Like, look what I'm telling. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, it went from that to... I went off on him, and he got upset. And he cut the music up in the car. And he smoked his little joint, whatever the case was. And we were in the car, we were actually drinking and stuff. So he smoked his little joint, and all of a sudden, I get annoyed because I was tired. I had to work the next morning. I was like, I didn't come outside to listen to music. I come back in the house. So as soon as I said that, he like lost his mind. He was like, he said, what the hell that man said to me?
It's so good to see that you're so, I don't want to say that it's comfortable, but like, because like she said, I've been there, I've seen it, and it's like, to see her talk about this and be so comfortable, it's refreshing, because it's like, she's easing her way out of it, so.
And, yeah, so, anywho, what's happening?
She's looking at the producers in the background doing all types of signs.
Yeah, they crip walking back there. Anywho, so yeah, we ended up arguing, whatever, and then I just told him I don't want to be with you no more. The insecurity, I can't take it anymore. Like, all the fighting, it was just dumb. Like, I started seeing that I started becoming aggressive at one point. Like, after a certain time, like, a lot of people don't know, but a lot of times when we used to get arguments, I used to be the first person to swing too, because I already know that it was coming. So I feel like if I was the first person, we're not gonna argue. I know you're not gonna argue for too long. So I used to say, "What's up?" Like, you don't want to. I'm a type of person that if me and you, if I feel like we're getting into an argument and you're trying to overtalk me, I'm trying to overtalk you, I don't want to talk no more.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to have any conversation and.
Insecurity.
Yeah.
One of the subtle but salty early signs. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like at this point it just didn't. I was just over it at that point. So he ended up, as soon as I'm getting out of the car, he pulls me back in the car and he takes off in the car. And he was telling me the whole time how he was gonna kill himself. Now, mind you, this is not the first time he told me that he was gonna kill himself. So I didn't take it serious. I was like, oh, here go this drama king. He about to start, like, oh gosh, wear his panties.
Yeah. So you were like, whatever, boy, you been saying.
Yeah, like
thinking.
Yeah, and then the more and more he started driving and it started getting aggressive, he was just basically like, I started thinking like, dang, I should say something. Maybe say something. Because he kept saying, and bitch, you sitting there and you not even saying nothing. And I had so many things to say, but my mouth was just like,
but you're thinking if you say something, it might be the wrong thing.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me just shut up.
You want me to say it?
Let me just shut up. Because something told me to say, it's okay. I'm sorry. But it was like, that's all I kept doing, was saying I'm sorry for something that I didn't do. You're insecure. I couldn't keep doing that. So, moving forward from that, we drove for like at least 30 minutes. We went from, I stayed in Miami Gardens. We drove through over town, and then we ended up where the incident happened, which was on 77th and 22nd.
So if you guys don't know, we're in Miami. So Overtown is about 20-30 minutes away from where we're at. So, I mean, at night, that's not like a long drive, but it's a distance from where we're at. So it's not like she could run around the corner or whatever. But, yeah.
And we ended up getting...
Somebody said that we date the same guy. Oh my God, then we need to talk too, girl.
And we finally got to the place where the incident happened, which over there, I don't know if, I know a lot of people know, it's a big old field. It's a big field, and it's like a houses. It's a little bit of houses, and then right at the end, it's just nothing but construction. Not construction, but buildings. And it was late at night, so he ended up pulling over. He finally, stopped. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's chilling. Like maybe he's not gonna. Maybe he's chilling. I didn't want to talk.
Thinking he's
or maybe even if he just want to fight, I'm down for a fight. Listen,
your guard was up.
Yeah,
like
at
that's
this
so
point,
sad.
I know you want to fight, so it's like, okay, well, whatever.
Because you're so used to it at this point.
Yeah. So we're in the car just like this, and anytime he had a truck, an SUV. So anytime that I used to get mad, and I did this. I always do this. Even as a child, I used to do it with my dad. Anytime I get mad, I always face like this, and I look out the window, like even when I'm mad. So he's talking to me, and I'm like, boy, like. And he was like, it's either you or me. And I'm like, what you talking about?
You turned around quick.
Yeah, I said, what you talking about? And he was like, it's either you or me. I said, well, I ain't planning on dying today. And I turned my head. But like I said, I'm so used to him just
saying that.
doing dumb things like that. Like just saying things. And I was just so, it was a norm for me.
Yeah.
So I turned back around, and then all of a sudden, I just started feeling like, it was just like, but it felt like he started stabbing me, but it felt like punches. Wow. So I automatically like turned around and I jumped up to like fight. And girl, the rest is history. I got stabbed 32 times. Finally, he stopped in the middle of it. I tried to run out the car. That's how I got the stab wounds in my head. He grabbed me back in the car. And then I just gave up. My body just, after I got in the car, I started getting cold, and I just gave up. I was just like, I told myself, don't let my mom cry for me. My mom has 5 kids. For people that don't know, my mom has 5 kids. So I was just like, my mom is only girl. Yeah, my mom's only girl. So it's like, I know my mom is so attached to me, and I was just like, I hope this don't kill her, because my mom decided to have kids at an older age. So my brothers are still young. They're in their teens, and they deserve their mom. Yeah. And then I was just feeling like, I hope that nothing happens to her or my family, because I have family members that. We're close. We're like this, so I know it would affect like my family. Period. It would affect. We are very close family. For anybody that knows us, know that we're very close. We have a party in the house, and it's just us. And it looks like it's a whole bunch of people. So we're very close.
We have fun with each other.
Yeah, we love each other. We argue, but we love each other. And I was just thinking about all that, and I was just like, Granny, I'm gonna come see you. Like I kept saying it. Like it was just like, girl, I'm about to see you, girl. And all of a sudden, something told me, shut up and run. And I tried to grab the door with my hand. Yeah, that was Granny. Yeah, because someone said, shut up and run. Yeah, get up and run. Yeah. Someone was like, get up and run. Yeah. And my hand, like right now, both of my middle fingers are messed up. It doesn't go straight. But my hand started, I don't know. I know a lot of people went through domestic violence on here. I don't know if anybody got stabbed or even hurt at work or anything like that. Once something goes in it starts crippling, and I think this one here started crippling my hands, so I couldn't open them. So I was hooking my hand around the door like that. But I guess he thought, like, because I was going down in the chair, like I started sliding. Yeah, I started sliding, and I was throwing up blood, everything. So I tried to open the door, and like, mind you, it was like blood pouring from my hair and my eyes and stuff like that. So as soon as I tried to open the door, someone said, go. And I took off, and I never looked back, and I just started screaming, help, 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 help. And mind you, it's late at night. Yeah. Granted, somebody the other day around the corner of the house was fussing and fighting, and she's, help, get him off me. I didn't even want to open the door. Yeah. So it was just like, for somebody to see me running bloody with all this blood everywhere and things like that, and to say, let me open the door for her. This guy who's behind you. Yeah, and mind you, it was the last house on the block, and he was right behind me. I saw him make the U-turn, and the boy opened the door. He came to the window. He was like, what happened to you? I said, my boyfriend's trying to kill me. So he came to the door, and he was disabled. He is disabled. He had a heat stroke, and it kind of disabled his arm. I seen him pick up his gun, and he went like this to it, and he was like, get in the house. And I just took off. And right now we're still dealing with everything else. Oh my God! But for a long time, his you remember his family was blaming me and going through as far as like, I didn't want to talk to nobody really because it was just like anything that I said, it just sounded like, okay, she wanted to be with him. Because when I woke up in the hospital, the first thing I asked for was him.
Yeah.
I didn't remember, everything. It was just, the first person I saw was my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I'm going to kill him. And I was like, kill who? I was just like, where's mommy? Like, I was in so much pain. I couldn't walk. My stomach, you remember I couldn't sit up. My stomach was bandaged up. Breast, everything. I was bandaged up. So it was just like, what in the hell? Like, why he not here? Like, this boy make a big deal about everything. And I know why he not here.
So your head, you're thinking like, okay, he did this, but you probably thought he took you to the hospital. Is that what you thought?
No, I didn't think he took me to the hospital. I didn't know what I was in the hospital for.
Oh, okay.
I didn't remember.
You probably blacked out. Losing blood.
All I thought, I honestly, when I asked my brother, I thought we got into a car accident. Because you remember, I know that he was pissed off, but I never would have thought that, like I said, I know he's capable of fighting. I know a fight is a fight.
So probably that stab, when you got stabbed in your head, that probably blacked you out. So from there on, you just didn't know what was going on.
She said your strength is inspiring. Yeah, that was God. Girl, that makes me want to. Don't cry.
So that night, the guy that was disabled that saved you. So when he came to the gate and told you to get in, what you don't remember? What did he do?
I just saw when I looked back, I just seen him drive past. He didn't fight. He didn't argue. He didn't nothing. He didn't come to the door. He didn't do nothing. I just saw him take off, and it was like the slowest takeoff. Like
it probably was fast. But
it was like I don't know. To me, it just seemed like dang, it dawned on him as he's pulling away. Like it was just to me, and then again, like I said, I told my mom the whose house I ran into was really cold. We go back and see this man. The man said he ain't had no AC, so it's to say who
Wow. So the ambulance came, got you. Mm-hmm. You don't remember none of that.
No, the last thing I remember is I told him I was tired. The guy that opened the door. I don't want to say his name because a lot of people do know him. But I remember telling him I was tired, and I said I'm about to lay down. He said, "You better get your ass up. Get your ass up." And then I remember he poured like this cold water on me, and I cussed him out real bad because I just told him I was cold. And the lady came in.
He probably knew you was losing it, baby.
Because I said I'm tired. I said I'm gonna take a nap until they get here. Like I said, I'm gonna just take a quick nap, Wake me up when they get here. I told him that I was so tired.
Yeah.
I was so tired. I was like, what?
Because you were losing
He wanted me out.
So
I was like, oh, he wanted me out. I'm tired.
Wow.
So moving forward, we ended up. Police came, took my statement, and couldn't find out.
So they questioned me why you bleeding and everything.
I made sure I stayed up to tell her who did that to me.
Okay.
Because I didn't know if I was going to make it or not.
Okay.
I knew I got stabbed a lot. I knew how much pain I was in. And I knew, like, my skin was everywhere. Like, my skin, flesh was coming out. Like, I just knew, like, I was...
You didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't, But at the end of the day, I'm here.
So you say you got stabbed 32 times. Like, I know some of the places you can't show. So how did that affect you physically after the fact? I mean, mentally, we already know that's another story. But, like, physically, how did it affect you? Because I know your hands were messed up from before. So physically, with all the stab wounds and stuff, like, in your head, did you have to learn to talk again, walk again? Like, what were the things that
you I wasn't affected to that point. To that point. Where I had to learn how to walk and do all that things. But it was just, it was watching myself and getting used to it. Because right now, the scars are like, it's who made me. And you remember the scars are like really, really pink. Now it's like kind of blended in and things like that. But it was really, really pink. And then I had the staples. And so when I go out and stuff like that, it was like people is just automatically like, what the hell just happened to her? And it was like my cuts were still leaking here and there. And I sleep on my stomach.
Yeah.
So I couldn't sleep on my stomach because I was taped up. My stomach was taped up from here on my breast and things like that. It was just, and then I sleep with a pillow between my legs, the big old cut on my leg. I couldn't, it was just very uncomfortable for me. And then when you leave the hospital, the medicine is not as strong that they give you as if you're in the hospital. So it's like, and then my mom worked that night. You remember my mom was working that night, so I was so miserable being around all these men in the house, and it's like, I don't want to be with these men, and I just got stabbed by a man. And I felt bad putting my brother's my brothers. I had to force my brothers to put medicine on my breasts and my vagina. That my brothers like that's not
they were
young.
Yeah.
And I know I wasn't gonna let my daddy do it. So I was like, Caleb, come, please. And it was just like and honestly, truly, like he was the most compassionate one of them. Like he was like, come on, I'll do it. Like Shay was like, no. He was like, no, Cece. Yeah. So it does affect the whole family, and I wish that knowing that it was going to lead up to that, if I would have never dragged myself and my family into that, because it was just not
from early.
Yeah, it was like many fights that we had outside and all type of things that everybody had to go off on people, go off on him and all that type of stuff. And then I know when it came down to wanting to look for him, everybody was, I want to kill him, and I'm just like, no, he ain't worth it. Like God gonna deal with him.
So how long before they can I have a refill? How long before
It's only one.
did he? So that night they didn't find him, obviously. So how long before they ended up finding him, or
So we
Where's the girl who was saying the story ain't true? Oh, nobody. Yeah, I reached out to that individual. So apparently, we don't know who she was talking about, but someone made a comment underneath.
She was talking about me.
Someone made a comment underneath the post saying that the story isn't true, which I feel like obviously she don't know the entire story, so she hasn't showed up. I reached out to her to talk to her because if y'all know me, I like to make peace most times, but she never commented or responded back. I do like to make peace. They're saying no, I don't. I do, but so that night he wasn't found. I know the story, but I'm asking questions so you guys can get clarity. So where did he, do you know where he went? What happened?
So apparently that night, from what it's saying, as far as you can top me off as far as with that story, through court we found out that he was down here for a couple of days. I also knew too that he was down here because he also made a Snapchat. Like you remember, they took my phone and everything for investigation. No, I left my phone and my purse and everything in the car.
Because you ran.
Yeah, because I ran, and he threw everything out. When they found my phone, they had to use it under investigation. So they never. I didn't have a phone. So when I finally did get a phone, I had got like a $50 phone. I was so desperate. I was so desperate. Yeah, basically. I got the phone and I made a Snapchat. Those that knew me in that relationship, when I got into a relationship, it got to a point where he was like, I don't know social media between us, so nobody could be in our business and this, that, and that. But I didn't know that he was secretly having his own Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram. He was still.
So it was so much.
Yeah, it was like, he still had his little, his little fun, but it was like when it came to me, it was like,
no way. Manipulative.
Listen, I used to pay his friends to stay out longer with him at the club.
Somebody said she better send her to me. Send who to you, Star? Let me see. I'm just sharing it out, guys. I'm listening.
Okay, purpose.
And
so what was I saying?
That he had his own social media.
Yeah, he had his own social media and everything. So this was when you actually was moving into your house. And you remember?
Y'all need to get started.
We're actually she was actually moving in here. And I used to come around her a lot when I first was going with it, because like I said, I felt like she was one who understood me more than anybody. I could have conversation. Even if I did say I miss him, she's like, that's normal. That's normal. It's okay. Like versus if I tell somebody else, "This is you serious?" Like and I'm like I said, I'm never mad at none of my family for feeling the way that they felt, because it was like, damn, this man did all this to you and he still have a hold on you. So it wasn't like I was mad, but I was mostly around Carissa, and we were here.
Hello, this is my damn house.
So we were moving in here, and me and my little cousin actually posted a video on Snapchat, and we had did one that night and woke up this next day, and we were packing up her room or something like that. And he was like, "Oh, y'all girls too cute to have on the same clothes." Like he was just talking like normal,
So
like
he had no clue.
Yeah, but the first time he wrote me was the day after I got out of the hospital, and I said, "Fuck Jackson," because they gave me back my jewelry and stuff with blood on it and stuff like that, and it was so unprofessional. You remember I was so pissed off at them.
Yeah.
So he jumped on there and said, and mind you, he's talking to me like a normal person. Like I didn't even know who it was. And I said, he was like, "Oh, why you were in Jackson?" And I said, "I bumped my big toe." So I guess that opened the door for us to start having conversation. But like I said, I never knew it was him.
So it was a fake page.
Yeah, it was a fake page.
And so somebody said you paid his friend to take him out. My friend in California said, "Send her to me. Send that lie to me. I'm gonna send a star because we know what you do." So if you guys don't know Star, she deals with the funeral homes. So that's what the answer. So I didn't understand you. Somebody said I didn't understand you. That's what you were saying. He had multiple pages. Okay, yes, he did. He was following everyone, even right down to her little brother.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's 8:51, guys. And what time do we start? Because I know Instagram cuts us off in an hour. So make sure you guys monitor us so that we can know. We don't want to get cut off because we have to save this story to share. Okay. So we can. If you guys have any questions, guys. She is a survivor. She's strong. She can talk about it now.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was really hard. And like she said, a lot of people didn't understand. And those of you, okay, somebody said I started at 8:17. Perfect. So those of you that been through this, correct me if I'm wrong. When she was going through a lot of stuff, the reason why I told her I felt like it was normal. It was normal to still have feelings. You've been with somebody for so long. And then, they almost killed you, but it's not like, oh, I almost died, my feelings were going to go. You know what I mean? So she had to kind of wean herself out of this. She said, "Girl, you know me. I don't know what you're saying." I don't understand what you're saying. Are you asking a question or are you telling me something? You said that, he created multiple pages. Yes, we know that. Yes, sending her news to all of, I know. My friend Maddie, I called her and said somebody. So he was sending things. They're saying he was sending things to all her friends, just sending crazy stuff.
Old pictures.
So he was harassing everybody.
Girl, he had old pictures. Mind you, that we were nasty. Sorry. So we had like a lot of pictures and like videos and stuff. And he was
trying to be Kim Kardashian. Oh, okay.
He was trying to be Ray J. Something. But he started sending out pictures of my body parts to like my friends and like even down to boys that he knew I used to talk to back then to try to get them to say, "Oh, I want you still," and then like threatening these people. So like as I'm like people writing me and like, "Oh, when I catch you, ho, I'm gonna whoop you." Like it was just like so weird. Yeah, he was writing them like so he made a page of me. He created a page of me.
Oh, okay.
And he was writing people and sending them pictures of me and stuff like that, saying I miss you and stuff. And the moment that he got into as far as like them saying that they want to meet up and stuff, he'll snap. Like, he'll go off. Snap.
You think he became mental?
He was already mental. For you to do stuff like that, it's one thing for you to shoot somebody, and that's the thing that they were talking about in court. It's one thing for you to pick up a gun and say boom and say, "Oh my God, I feel bad." But for you to stab somebody that many times, that's a hate crime. And it was the passionate crime. Like
that's what they call it.
Yeah, you did all that, and it was just like, wow. Yeah. What's that?
She said she cussed them out, but the police said they couldn't use that. And that's another thing.
That must have been my cousin. She cussed them out so bad.
Stabbing is a crime of passion. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So so it's like nobody. Basically, he was trying to scar you. Mm-hmm. In my head, I don't know. I could say whatever, but I feel like he was trying to scar you where nobody else could get you or want you. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was.
Was he found and jailed?
Oh yeah.
So we didn't touch on that. He ran for 2 years. Yeah. In them 2 years, he stalked me. Like I even moved to Atlanta at one point, trying to live up there. He took pictures of the house, and it's not like went on online and seen a.
You might have a chip in you, girl.
I'm trying to tell you. highs. So it was.
How do you think you found you in Atlanta though?
It was social media. Like it was like you remember the going away party that I had and people were posting up and saying bye CC and things like that, and I had social media, so it's easy for it's not hard to say, you know.
And then he knew your family in Atlanta, so
yeah.
Okay.
But to find the address was like, how the hell you did that?
That's not
Somebody
hard.
said how many times were you stabbed?
32.
32 times. So somebody asked, was he found? So yeah, 2 years later, and where
They found him in Georgia. Mind you, he thought you remember he knew that I moved, but he didn't know I came back home.
Right.
Because I was like, once I found that out, and I was going through my own little things, I came back home. And he did not know I came back home, but when they found him in, it was Georgia, but I can't remember. It was like a 45-minute ride away from
Everything 45 minutes.
Yeah. It was like a 45-minute ride from Georgia where they found him at. Apparently he was applying for a job.
Okay.
But you remember, it was so weird because it was like they told me that he had a house in his name. He had a car, not a house, but renting someone in his name. He bought a car in his name. So I guess when he did the job, I guess he felt comfortable to say, okay. Remember, every time he did something, I always took him back. So he probably was like, okay, I did this to her. She's gonna get over it. And then, she probably said I didn't do it. So I guess he got comfortable, and then he applied for Geico. Thank you, Geico.
And they did he apologized.
He tried to, and the apology came with what he did. I still want to be with you, and then cussed me out.
That's crazy. So when you went to court, because you recently went to court. We did a Zoom meeting. Well, the Zoom meeting. Zoom court. How crazy is that? Did you see that? Well, I mean, obviously you saw him. What was your reaction? Because that's your first time seeing him in 3 years. What did you feel or say or think?
It kind of hurt me because it was just like you really did all this for nothing. Like you really did all this for nothing, pretty much.
And he didn't say nothing on the Zoom court.
It wasn't nothing. You could see, like when I came up on the thing, he smiled. You saw that.
He's sick in the head.
I think for sure. But you know he is because you remember when he
I knew, but
he texted my other cousin one time. He texted her, and I guess they had got into it because, like I said, he was threatening everybody. Like people were still. We were still. He never did. You remember you left his car out there?
Yeah.
I had to go to jail because of him. He reached out to one of my cousins, and he was like, if I wanted to touch y'all, I would have been touched y'all a long time ago. Y'all my girl cousins. So he still had in his mind that I was his girl. I was his woman. Like, it was just weird. He had it in his mind. And like I said, it was just a repeated thing. He felt like every time we fought, even if he knew that my family did not approve of it, I always just said, fuck what my family say, I'm going to go back. Yeah. And I think he had that type of on his mind. He was like, okay, let me give her time.
Right.
I'm going to give her her time.
She's going to come back anyway.
Yeah, and she just going to say, I didn't do it so we could be back together and I ain't going to touch it. I think that's what his mindset was at that time.
Yeah. So, as we know, a lot of things take a long time and there's only so much that we can talk about. Like, you can't really touch what's going on as far as legally, but he's in jail and they're going through whatever process they have to go through. We don't know, what will be the outcome. And it's kind of sad because it's been so long. So, we don't know. She's okay. You should be walking around like you're not really okay. You should get mental too. But we don't know what's going to happen. Someone said, if that incident didn't transpire, do you think you would have ever left? Ooh, good question.
And I told her this.
That's a good question.
This is so funny. I told her this, and I think I told someone that the other day. That was the first time. I always ask God, like I used to say, Lord, like let me walk away from this relationship. And not, I told my friend Kayla the other night, we were talking, and I said, let me walk away from this relationship and not turn back. Because it was repetitive. That was always what happened. We fought, got mad, slept at mom's house, came back, and then we back together. Yeah. And I asked God, I was like, let me, in the shower one day, just dating, get ready for it.
Tired.
Yeah, and then that happened. And it was like God was just basically saying, okay, you're not going to, I've been showing you who he is. I have showed you his hand a long time. You have a praying family. My mom, like, she walked with the Lord every day. She hold his hand and walk on the golf course with him. And where she goes, she keep her Bible. My mom is a praying mother. So it was like, I knew that she wanted that to end for a very long time. And I knew that I wanted it to end, but I didn't, what I wanted to end was the abusive part. I didn't want us to end. Because he had a lot of qualities of my stepdad. Like, as far as he's good with his hands, he's a provider. Like, he's a people's person. Like, if you don't know him, like, as far as that type of person, when you take him out, we have fun. He's not a cheap person. He's a fun person. So it was like,
that's the sad part.
I seen that being the last person I dealt with. Like, saying I do. But
You
I wasn't going to marry him knowing the fact that we were going through that.
And that's the sad part to me, is like you said, he had good things. So it's like, that's like in the story, what's that movie? They talked about 80-20.
Married
to something. The Tyler
Reason
Perry
Why-
movie. Yeah.
Damn.
And so it's like, okay, so when I write it down, he has 10 good qualities, but at the same time, he has 11 bad qualities. So how can I balance it out to make it okay?
64.
So yeah, right, something like that.
Why did I get married?
Yes. Why? Yes. And so that to me would be a hard part, but
but to answer the question, if that didn't happen, I think it still would have been
going on.
Well, then again, you don't know, because
No, I don't
know.
think so.
Yeah, because after a certain while, I was like, okay, no.
because we was over it at a certain point.
Yeah,
Like,
we was.
That was that was over. So it could have stemmed from his background, which I think so. I think there were things that were never corrected, my opinion, and it was okay, and they sugarcoated, and so he just went
There's
on
been
and
many
on
fights.
and on.
One thing I think, okay, so we were staying at with his mom, and it was fights that when we first got together, and the fights first started happening, we used to argue right outside of her window, and she never said anything. But then, like, when she started getting worried in the middle, like coming towards the end, when it was like the monster was already created, like, and I realized, like, a lot of times when he was to say something to her, she was like, "Oh my God, shut up!" Like, she never took him like and said, you know, you need to. Yeah, it's not. This is not. This is not that. You need to stop. She never did that. So moving forward, it was just like his actions never got corrected by his mom. Like, and I'm not saying he was grown at that point, but I know I post something messed up on Facebook. My mom calling me now, so it's like that goes to show.
You know what I'm saying? That's true. So again, for those of you that are maybe just tuning in, this is Sierra Sprott. She is a domestic violence survivor. She survived after being stabbed 32 times by her then boyfriend, and obviously she's here to tell her story to help others to look at the little signs. And this entire month we're going to be speaking to 7 more women that have went through this, and she's younger. I have some that are middle-aged, some that are older, wiser I should say, but like a lot of things stem from being her age. Somebody messaged me today and said they were in a domestic violence relationship for 30 years. So you can't judge people. Some people, you just don't know why they continue with it or stay in it. So with her telling me that 30 years, in my head I was like, shoot, somebody was going to, it was going to be a problem.
At that point.
But then you don't know why she's in it. Like you said, he did a lot. He took care of you. He helped. He did a lot. So right before we close out, we are going to tell you guys about she said I want deranged on my team. Yeah, you see her name, deranged. She said I want deranged on my team.
Yeah.
One thing I hate about Instagram now is like I can't even go back and see all the comments. That's what I hate about it. But so she's gonna go ahead, and if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them really quick before they cut us off. And while you guys are doing that, she's gonna share the information with about Pain to Purpose, who is the founder, Shonda Roberts. So go ahead if you guys want to take this out, and again, I'm gonna share it out as well. So
as I was talking about Shonda before, she is. I was introduced to Shonda with her. She's the reason why I'm comfortable to speak out Shonda, but Corey Love. But she's the reason why I'm comfortable to have conversations in front of people. And even with Shonda was a big supporter. She answered the phone in the middle of the night because drinking had became. I didn't vent and everybody was so weird of how I handled it because I didn't. Yeah, real bad. I couldn't I drowned myself in alcohol to cope with it. Like sleeping at nighttime, I couldn't do it. And Shonda always answers her phone in the middle of the night. She's married. Anybody that know they got a husband and somebody calling your phone is like, babe, who's that? So it's like she's a really good person to talk to, and she waits until you're comfortable. She's not a forceful person, and she doesn't put you out there and say, come, let me talk to you, and then have you in front of she's there to be there. So if anybody, I don't know if you yourself or somebody that you know may need someone, I have a number for you guys. Her number is 305-791-3417, or her email that she has is the info at pain2purpose and the number 276.org. And all this stuff I will list, we'll place on
share it.
Yeah, we'll share it. And then she's on social media, Pain to Purpose with the number 276, and that's on social media.
All
on her
across the
platform.
board.
Mm-hmm. She said, DeRange said, love you, Cece.
Love you, girl.
So DeRange is her cousin. They're pretty much sister cousins. They're raised as sisters. So, like we said, we all went through her best friend, Kayla, some of her other friend girls, I don't know, was Ashley and Kiki on her at that time?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
They weren't, but it was even that's the thing though. Now it's even dealing with the person who I am now, the more aggressive person. Like I told you, that relationship when you don't, and that's not it's not a good thing all the time. Like if you don't get the proper healing, I didn't go and sit in front of nobody and talk to somebody. The first time I went to go see somebody, she asked me, well, why did I stay in a relationship so long? I said, well, why the fuck you in my business? And I just left. Because it was just dumb. You didn't ask me nothing about me. You didn't ask me nothing about me. She didn't pamper you. Right. You don't know me. It was just you clocked in and let me get this over with. Yeah. So I left. It wasn't the right, and she even my friends now, I'm thankful for them now because I still deal with things even and it doesn't have to be down to, oh girl, I miss him, but it's just how I do with relationships now, and how upset that I get now, or when somebody pissed me off when we out, it's Sierra, please no.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times
your guard is up.
Yeah, I know I'm a type of person that if I know somebody that's coming around me that's drunk and we finna go out, I'm like, don't bring your friend around me. They never did that to me, So it's just even now Kayla and Millie, my cousin, I know sometimes she can't stand me, but I know that's my friend first, and even all my family, I appreciate all of you guys. I know I was saying sorry for back then, and the more I got to do now, but it's a long ride.
Somebody said, Kayla said, I was looking for her and I didn't hear from her. And Kayla said, she's in the hospital. I'm like, huh, what? I'm proud of you, sister, for stepping up. That's Tashetta talking about it. So many people are suffering in silence with hidden scars that are so deep. Even teens, yeah.
See, that's another thing. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I realized that being part of with Pain and Purpose, and I see her go out in the middle schools and stuff. It's kids, and they're scared to go home and tell their parents that these boys or girls beating up on them real bad.
Little things. I would say that hit that. I'm never play hitting. Watch their kids. Even their attitude. Sometimes it's because of whatever they may be going through. Mm-hmm. But we just have to always look out and encourage the young ones for sure, and teach them. Even teens should be on here watching this now. Mm-hmm. Like I said, there's gonna be 7 other women that I'm gonna be talking to. There's some more here that are local that I can try to do the same thing with, but we just have to really make sure that we build our girls, men too, because they need to understand that that's not right. That's not good to do, especially if you have daughters, moms, sisters, cousins. It's just not the right thing to do. We all need to
I know a boy whose wife used to beat up on me real
if they
bad.
don't really listen to you, or doesn't respect your opinion. But one thing about that, what you said, Marco, once we talk about it and get that off our chest, it's like, okay, we've done what we needed to do to clear ourselves, and our conscience is clear. You know what I mean? So I get that. He took my friend away from me because she were so close. Yeah. So sometimes, people change after the fact. But it is now 9:10, and Instagram is going to cut us off. But I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for being on tonight. And if you have any other questions, I didn't share her page because of certain things. But if you guys know her personally, you can always reach out to her. If you want to reach out to her, you can contact me or Paint to Purpose, like we said earlier. And I will definitely share that information. So those of you that may be suffering in silence can reach out. I don't want to say that I'm a therapist or I can help like that, but I can definitely
She was my therapist.
I can definitely get you to the person that you would need to help heal your scars. All right, so again, as always, it's your girl Corey Love of the Corey Love Show. We will be here next week. We had the pleasure of speaking with Sierra Sprott tonight, and we will be here next week, Tuesday and Thursday, speaking with two other wonderful ladies. And if you guys saw the flyer, I listed all of them, and they are definitely willing to share their story, and I'm excited about it because you never know what difference we can make now, or who may be able to help. So like I said, I'm not a therapist, but I can definitely get you to the people who can. And like we shared, Pain to Purpose, Shonda Roberts, she definitely have many resources that can aid you guys on that. So I will see you guys Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place. And as always, guidance, blessings, and love. Thank you guys.
Bye.